Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C-levels across the globe. We take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy with our league of extraordinary thought leaders. They're not only domain experts, but those individuals who are not only high performing, but have made a considerable impact in the fields that they're working in. Today as well, we've got an extraordinary gentleman with us. His name is Mr. Umair Azam. He's the founder and CEO, Integration Xperts. So without further ado, let's go and have a word with him. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely my pleasure here, and thank you for considering me to be part of this very interesting forum. And you guys are doing a wonderful job by bringing all the C-level people to this forum and to showcasing Pakistan talent all across the globe. So thank you once again.
We're grateful for those very kind comments. Now, moving on, I introduced you to our audience, but how would you introduce Umair Azam to the rest of the world? Please talk a little bit about your professional journey and experiences so far.
Sure. So primarily, I started my career after finishing my college, I got my degree out of UK, and I did my bachelor's in computer science and information management, and I came back, started working in the technology industry. Very early in my career, I sort of figured out that I'm not a techie type, so I would not sit and code or write programs, right? So a lot of people used to tell me also in my college days, because I was very active in extracurricular activities. So they would, I have some flair for sales or to basically talk to people and kind of convince them. And when I started my career, that was early 2000s. There was a lot of gap in technology sales in Pakistan. So there were not a lot of people who would come and do technology sales, and that too in software applications. I mean, you would still find people who would sell hardware, who would sell networking equipment and all that, but there were hardly any people who would do software sales. Founded that, and I started building my career in that, and I worked through started at a very low level of entry-level jobs at as a sales executive, and I've been blessed to have such great mentors who have helped my career and guiding me through different areas and right decisions, and all in all, I think I've been lucky to be part of very professional organizations, which include, early days, I worked one of the early ERPs, software companies, locally built companies called Millennium Software. It was founded by Mr. Alauddin, late Mr. Alauddin. I went to Tech, which is group. I was heading the enterprise solutions domain there. After that, I went to Oracle, where I was managing the entire channels for Oracle applications, and it was a regional role. I used to look after 7-8 countries. Uske baad, I went on to become the country head for Avaya, which is again an American company that looks after IP telephony and contact center solutions. They're still going very strong in Pakistan. And then after that, business technologies, initially I took a role as a chief strategy officer, later on becoming the chief operating officer, and then the chief executive officer also. So that was my last stint before forming Integration Xperts. So Integration Xperts is my baby. I built it almost 6 years ago, and guess, and now it's it's something that I'm building right now. And very late in my career, I started this entrepreneurial journey. So if you were going to ask me that how would I describe Umair Azam, I would say that I am. So I would not call myself an entrepreneur. I would call myself actually gone through the whole cycle of the corporate sector and now became an entrepreneur. So I would say I'm probably a more experienced entrepreneur versus somebody who does entrepreneurship at the beginning of their career, right? And I have a respect to do that. I unfortunately didn't have that opportunity, but I think I am more experienced today. I can probably understand better. I can understand success better. I can manage people better because I've gone through that whole cycle of working at different organizations and taking tough decisions, right? So yeah, so yeah, this is pretty much my journey.
Right. Quite inspiring, Mr. Umair Azam. Now, we understand that Integration Xperts takes pride in being one of the top cloud integration and data analytics company in the country. What exactly does your role entail as the founder and CEO? What are you doing on a day-to-day basis?
So one thing I did at IX, as we call it, Integration Xperts, but we call IX. So one thing I did at IX was to build a very, very strong team, right? So I wanted to have people, or I wanted to build entrepreneurs who actually run their own shops, right, within IX. So that I don't have to get involved in operational details, or that I don't get stuck in operational matters. My focus or my day-to-day job is to ensure that the company is growing, first of all, and secondly, the other aspect of my role is to strategize and give company new avenues within create new service lines. So if you ask me, 60-70% of my time now goes in as new initiatives. So for example, cloud is a whole new world for a country like Pakistan, and there are multiple areas that we have to grow in. So a lot of my time is spent meeting principals like Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, and we strategize with them. Then, of course, we have a product development team that uses cloud and technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics, and we build products for our customers. So if you ask me, I get fascinated now more on product development. So a lot of my time is spent on talking to young people in my team who inspire me every day with new ideas, with new products, and we go and we try to create a market for those products. So yeah, so that's what my role is within IX, and
Right.
and I basically help them envision what they're thinking, right? So for example, not every product is meant for the customer, so I have to keep that balance, that yes, this product would work and this would not work. So
because obviously innovation also has to have a commercial aspect to it. You very aptly told us what you do on a day-to-day basis and what inspires you. But let's talk a little about the product itself, right? The product itself. So when we speak of cloud computing, we know that it's a fairly new concept in Pakistan. What do you think is the future of cloud computing in Pakistan, and what are some of the challenges that you think we face?
So, a company like IX, when it was formed, was actually born on the cloud or born in the cloud era, right? Because I think we were the first partner who, we started to sell cloud applications for a lot of our partners like Oracle and SAP and many other Microsoft that we work with, and our own products for that matter. So I see a huge future for cloud computing in Pakistan. In fact, it's already happening as we talk. Right, this transformation is happening at a very rapid pace. There is a lot of growth that is happening. If you talk to the likes of Microsoft and Amazon, it's unbelievable the amount of revenues they're generating for their companies, right? And here I would like to, talk to, and I keep going to these forums and I keep telling our local providers like PTCL and, Multinet and many others, right? That, this is the time to put up, data centers, world-class data centers in Pakistan, because you see sustainable for companies in Pakistan to keep paying in dollars, right? Because rupee is devaluing on a very rapidly.
Absolutely, record lows ever recorded yesterday.
Yeah, and the cost of acquisition, cloud acquisition, is going to keep going up if we depend on the likes of Amazon and Microsoft. I'm not saying that we should not. I mean, of course we should. But the point is that, there is always going to be so corporates would always prefer to work with the large service providers like Microsoft and Amazon.
Because of the stability, security, etc.
That too. And then, they don't have the constraints as much, but there is a huge market which we call the small and medium businesses,
SMB,
which are eventually going to go on the cloud, right? Not now, 2 years, 3 years down the line. And there's going to be a huge opportunity for local cloud providers to basically capture that market. So, and those guys, the SMEs, will not be able to pay in US dollars or whatever they would not be able to send money outside. So I think it's very, very important that we focus on this market segment, or the large players like PTCL and the multinets of the world should focus on this market segment in Pakistan and start to provide services, and not just bare metal, right? There has to be value added services on top of the so it's not just infrastructure. There has to be services built on it, like Microsoft does or Amazon does, right? AI, machine learning, data analytics, IoT.
Absolutely.
All of that needs to be built in to these local service providers, or they should be doing that, because I see a huge opportunity.
Absolutely. Like I said, I couldn't agree more. But speaking of data, now it is often said that data is the new oil and gold. How would you critically evaluate this statement very concisely?
So again, I don't know, I gave an interview many years ago, I think 2-3 years ago, where I touched upon data analytics, and yes, absolutely, data is the new oil. Every organization now is realizing that they need to have access to not just information, but it has to be structured data, right? Because there was an era where people used to implement ERP systems, or any system for that matter, and they used to get information out of it. But now every application system or software management system that you see, they're all talking about the what if analysis. They're talking about built-in AI into the system, because they want the system to be telling. Because if you're putting data in and you're getting standard reports out of it, nobody has the time now in the world to actually go through like 500 pages of report to actually identify an anomaly or identify a problem in the data, right? Now, everybody's expecting the system to highlight that, fine, if today I'm booking an order, let's say I'm a textile company and I'm booking an order for 100,000 pieces and my delivery date is, let's say, 31st May, do I even have the raw material to deliver it? You see? So they want the system to tell them this. And this data, what you're saying, this is the data that we need from the system. These are the data points and the decision points that we require from within the system, right? And that's why people are now, talking about that. I mean, for example, take example in the banking sector. Now, there is a lot of focus within the banking sector for fraudulent transactions, right? Now the banking systems are getting smarter day by day, where they're picking up and it to the risk team, right? Because they don't want to be penalized, or questioned for any wrongdoings within the banking sector. So these are all coming through the system. This is the importance of data. And it's going to tell you what's going to happen 3 months or 6 months down the line in your organization, right? So that is the value of data that these systems are carrying. And it's all kind of converging in the cloud era, because the cloud systems today are coming bundled with these applications and these mechanisms. So I was saying, at the end of the day, I was giving you an example of the banking sector. And then, if we're going to talk about 5 years or 10 years earlier, systems did not have this capability, right? But they do today. And it's all, like I said, it's all converged within the cloud, and the cloud is bundled and embedded with these technologies. So data is the new oil,
Absolutely. And from what I could critically analyze from your statements, I see that this whole bundling is going to result in presumptions, from the shift from presumptions to actually preemption. So that's going to really streamline our processes for us.
Absolutely.
And increase efficiency and output. So moving on, a little bit about your personal and work life, right? So how do you perceive failure?
So for me, failure is all about learning, right? So in fact, just this morning, I was reading a very, very important, somebody had put this up on LinkedIn. So, it was a line defining how a CEO is supposed to think, right? And it said that, there are people who don't take decisions, there are people who take decisions, and it had percentages. And I think it was giving full marks to a CEO that was taking decisions. Whether they were wrong or right does not matter, right? And I think it gave the least percentage or least marks to somebody who did not take a decision. So for me, and I keep telling this to my team also, that, the earlier in your career you start to make decisions or take decisions, and some of those decisions are going to go the other direction. They may be wrong, right? But the earlier you learn to make mistakes, right, and you correct them, the catastrophe is going to be smaller, right? But if you were not taking decisions, and then at some point of time you're forced to make a decision, let's say you're at a senior position now and you're forced to make a decision, and that decision goes south, the catastrophe of that decision could be much bigger in volume. It could have, economic or financial impact. It could have an impact on your career, a lot of things, right? On your mental. So I think anybody, for me, failure is all about learning from taking decisions, and eventually them in the future. So, so absolutely, and I've seen many failures in my whether it was at a personal level or at a professional level. But then you have to keep moving. You can't, another thing I heard a couple of months ago. We as humans worry about the past, where we can't do anything about because it's all in the past. And we sweat too much about the future for which we have no control over, right? You see? So the fact of the matter is that आपको आज present में रह के अपने past से सीखना होगा और उसको future में implement करना होगा. You see? So that you won't make those mistakes.
Absolutely.
Right?
It is often said that the past is history, the future a mystery, and this moment is a gift, which is why it's called the present.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
in the present moment.
True.
So, thank you so much for sharing these very valuable insights with us. But in the interest of time, I'm only going to have time to ask you a few more questions, and I would request you to sort of sum it up there. What do you like doing when you're not working? So, that would be interesting to know.
I don't know. I don't know if you ever followed me, but so I've gone through this major transformation as far as my health is concerned, right? So I was probably 55 kgs heavier.
Wow.
Okay. And yeah, so I lost that weight. I shed all that weight over 2 years. So I've kind of become somebody who's now become very health conscious. So I like spending a lot of time cycling. I like going to the gym. I play golf. So I like to travel. I like to spend time with friends. So these are things I do when I'm not working, or even when I'm working. I mean, I've taken calls when I'm cycling or I'm at the gym. So that gives you, COVID taught us a lot of things, right?
Absolutely.
Remote working.
Absolutely.
To us. So yeah. Those are the things that I enjoy doing. I have, mashallah, 4 beautiful children. And they're all growing. I like to spend time with them. I like to plays with them and explore the world. So those are my things that I do when I'm not working or even working.
That's remarkable because with all the talk of data analytics and cloud computing, the future one could have never guessed. But I guess that's why they say never judge a book by its cover. So towards the end, we are very grateful to you for sharing these valuable insights with us. Please keep contributing to the knowledge economy. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you here. But upon an end note, I'd like to ask you, what do you think is the utility of forums like CxO Global?
I think I also. I think such forums are presenting a very, very positive image of Pakistan to the world. I think it's very important, and kudos to Kamal and his team, of course, you, for making this effort and projecting this image of Pakistan. Because a lot of the times people don't perceive, like you say, never judge a book by its cover. So I think Pakistan ka unfortunately perception hai, usko you guys are, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort to go and change somebody's perception. So definitely, I mean, you guys are doing a wonderful job in highlighting the positive image of Pakistan. Ek to ye hai. Internally, if I talk, so this is very external to the rest of the world. Internally, I think I've not seen a forum doing a better job bringing all C-level at one forum. There are many forums that are going on, right? बहुत सारे इस तरह के forums पे काम हो रहा है. But I think the amount of activity that I see, the amount of interaction that I see, and it's never ending. It's even hard for I'll start from here. Yeah, so I was saying that, so externally, what I said, you guys are doing a wonderful job by projecting this positive image of Pakistan. But internally, and it's very difficult to change it's very hard to change the perception that people have, right? So congratulations to you guys, and keep doing the great work. Internally, I was saying that there are many forums that are going on, and but I think the way you guys are bringing the C level at one forum and interacting them at different on different topics and different ideas, it's even difficult to catch up with the amount of interactions that are happening, but it's wonderful, and I think the value that you guys are bringing to the business community, I think it's wonderful. And I talk from a technology perspective. I've gotten to know so many people which I did not know, because you on a day-to-day basis, you meet certain people, you only meet your customers or your peers or your partners. But then, I think you guys have done a great job by bringing all these people on this one platform. And I've gotten to know many new people, and it's a great effort.
Thank you very much, Mr. Umair Azam, for joining us today. It's been lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for today. We look forward to your comments and feedback. Please keep us updated and keep watching. We will join you next time with another very special guest.